Hello everyone, it's William here at Allegory Gallery and I'm at Star Cottage Studio in our bead room, and we have a lot of stuff to show you today, so I hope you're ready. I just wanted to, I'm a little bit early. I think we said we're going to start at 5:30 today. I was running around between Star Cottage Studio and Allegory Gallery and home, doing a lot of different things today. We're still trying to catch up from things from being away for the conference that we were at in Rhode Island, in Providence for the SNAG conference. So we're just a little bit, whew. You ever feel like everything's just a blur? That's like my day. That's been my past few days. But if you're out there, please say hello. Hello, Harry. I see you're out there. Thank you for joining us today. If you are out there, please say hello. And if you are out there, please hit the share button on this video, whether you're watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook. We would really appreciate that. If you're in the Great Bead Extravaganza group, let us know that you found us from the Great Bead Extravaganza. We like to know who's out there with that and what's going on there. So today we have some vintage briolettes. They're vintage check glass briolettes in beautiful colors. We have some glass cabs. We have some stone cabs to show you, some cabochons. We have some gemstone strands to show you. I have some European crystal drops to show you. Yeah, so we're going to go through a lot of different things today, kind of a mishmash of things. Again, we're still finding things as we cleaned out the back room of Allegory Gallery to make room for classes and to move our online shipping to here to Star Cottage Studio. We've just been finding a lot of stuff. So these are things that we're still finding. That's kind of why it's a mishmash of things. Hello, Brooke out there from Detroit. Hello, Susan. Hello, Mary Ann. Thank you for joining us today. As I was saying earlier, please hit that share button. Let people know we exist. We are coming to you a little bit later today, so we'd appreciate if you hit that share in case anybody missed us starting at 5 today. We are... I was running around so much today. I knew I wasn't going to get this started at 5. It just wasn't possible. So we're here a little bit late. So we appreciate all of you who are joining in. And like I said, if you'd hit that share button, share on your timeline, share wherever you can to let people know that we have stuff. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Norma. Thanks for joining in. Thank you, Amanda, for joining in with us again. Brooke says shared. Thank you so much, Brooke. We really appreciate that. Sharing is caring, truly. There's a lot going on in the world. So from a physical store standpoint, we've talked about this a good bit. Gas prices are up, inflation is up. We're trying to keep our prices down as much as we can, but visitors to the physical store are pretty much zero because we do live in a kind of a destination little town, kind of a getaway town, and we do rely on tourism. And with prices in gas being what they are, our town numbers have dropped. So from that standpoint, things are hard. From the standpoint of online, we know things are affecting everyone everywhere. Gas prices are not just affecting us here locally, they are everywhere. We know that prices are increasing for a lot of people in a lot of different areas. So, and not only that, but, you can never quite figure out all those algorithms that Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all of them have. So the best way to let all of those places know that you care about something is to comment, to like, and to share. Sharing is especially important because that helps get the word out. It helps small businesses especially, so they don't have to put as much investment into buying ads. Now, we all know that Facebook and all them love for people to buy ads. That's just, that's one of their ways of making money. Facebook is pretty much a free platform unless you want to have a business and share your posts. Our posts used to get hundreds of views, hundreds of likes. That got chopped way down sometime before the pandemic. And now we're lucky if we get 10 or 20 likes on any one post. It's really, really hard. So sharing is really appreciated out there. Those are always, we're trying to, I hate to emphasize buying so much right now because everything is hard. We still need that, of course, because we're trying to run a business. We're trying to stay alive and keep this creativity flowing. But if you don't have the money right at this moment and you can't support us in that way, sharing is really the next best option to let people know that we exist out there. So thank you. We're gonna look at some things today. Let's see who else is out there with me that I didn't say hi to. Let's see, Terry is out there. Thank you so much, Terry. Brooke is saying, like this video, please. Yeah, give us those thumbs up on YouTube. If you're out there on YouTube with Brooke and Terry, give us those thumbs ups out there. Hit that share button and share it somewhere in the world, on Twitter, on your timeline, on Facebook, wherever you can share it. We'd appreciate that. Terry says shared. Thank you so much. Susan says, thank you for reminding me. I did as well. Thank you for sharing. Harry liked and shared. Thank you so much. Terry shared is here on Facebook. Thank you so much, Terry. Let's see here. Terry Ann liked here on Facebook. Thank you. Oh, hello, Kim. Thank you for joining us today out there in Facebook Landia. So we're gonna get into this here. Good news, our mower arrived. So Andrew we have an electric mower. It's battery operated, and it died right before we left. Well, actually, right before the photographer was coming here to Star Cottage Studio to take pictures. So our neighbors next door, who own Piddler's Pub here in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, mowed our grass for us. So that was very sweet of them and very kind. They've done that a number of times when we've been in a crunch. And so my mom actually got us a gift of a new mower, and it just arrived today. Andrew was going to check and see if he can get the batteries out and get those charging so that in about 2 hours, it says it takes 2 hours to charge the batteries. We'll see. In about 2 hours, I'm going to see if I can get home and mow the grass. As Andrew said, our house neighbors will probably be relieved because there are some, like some of those long stringy weeds that pop up sometimes. We have some that are like almost knee deep. They grew fast. The grass isn't so high. It's weird. The grass is not so high, but the little stringy weeds are very high. So I can't wait to get that mowed down and make our lawn look a little bit better. I like a little bit of a wild lawn. Like we don't mind having dandelions and wildflowers and stuff throughout our yard. But this is looking straggly. It's looking pretty bad. Our neighbors are probably like, what happened? At least they knew we were away. But we didn't mow it before we went away. And they're probably like, why did they just do it before they went away? And so we're like trying to tell everyone, our mower's broke. We have another one, please. Don't report us to the township or to the borough, right? So yeah, lots going on. Andrew and I will be heading to Pittsburgh on Friday. If you're available in Pittsburgh, sign up now for his teaching or his class. He's teaching a class at Contemporary Craft. If you're looking for Contemporary Craft on social media, it's often SCCPGH. That's S as in Sam, C as in Charlie, C as in Charlie, PGH for Pittsburgh. You can find that @ SCCPGH and like their page, like their Instagram account, go over there and be sure. Andrew said it is confirmed that he is having the class. It's a go. So we got enough people to sign up to actually have the class, but there is room left. So if you would like to take a class with us at the last minute here, we're getting close to the last minute, sign up online first. You can't sign up on walk-in, so you have to sign up in advance. I don't know how much, I can't remember how much the class is. Maybe Andrew can tell me that here. I have a thing in my head, what I think it is, but I don't want to say it in case it's wrong. So you can sign up. I don't think it's that expensive. And you can hang out with us. We'll be there. I think it's 6 to 9. If I'm not mistaken, in Pittsburgh. So it's after probably a lot of you would get out of work. So 6 to 9 p.m. At Contemporary Craft on Butler Street. And if you want to come join us, come hang out with us. Andrew said he thinks it's $45. I was thinking it was $40 or $45. So I think it's around $45 to take the class. Super easy. It's a 3-hour class. You get to hang out with us and have fun. And I think there's going to be drafts. I think there's going to be beer available and some snacks. So you can come and hang out and make things that also covers the materials, Andrew said. So there you are. And, hang out and support your LGBTQIA BIPOC friends, or, fellow people if you're a member of any of those groups. We'd really appreciate it, especially here during Pride Month, which we have not talked about. We have a tendency not to talk a lot about that. Many of you out there know that Andrew and I are married. So we're definitely members of the LGBTQIA. Andrew is BIPOC. I'm white. I'm not. But we don't talk about that a lot, and how much pride means to us, and has had an effect on the world, and just looking at LGBTQIA issues. Some people think it's just this frivolous thing, but it's much, much more than that, especially to the people who are in these groups. Not everyone understands what it's like growing up being fearful of being who you are. And, it was very hard for me growing up in a very small town during the time period that I did. It was not a safe thing to be gay in the time I grew up, and the place that I grew up. So even though many, a lot of my friends ended up being gay, we didn't even tell each other in most cases, because it was something that, first, you didn't want to admit. It was just hard enough to admit it to yourself. And secondly, if your friend got angry at you, you couldn't risk that being, outed, or risk being outed in that way. So it was a very difficult thing. Andrew says he does talk about it on his personal page. He does some. I don't talk about it a lot. It was a very hard time for me. It was not easy. I was picked on and beaten up most gym classes and most days, just because people thought I might be, or because of who I was. So it was a very hard time. I came home many days crying. I came in many days thinking about suicide. I came home many days, from school, just feeling utterly and totally defeated. So it is a big issue. It's not one that we get into a lot. It's not, there are not a lot of memories that I like to relive. But pride is one of those things that I am glad to see that happens. My first Pride parade that I attended was in New York City, and I was on a float. And that was a pretty special time for me. It was very, it was very empowering. And that was once I was in college. I think I was 20 at that point. And so that was the first time that I saw that maybe it would be okay, that maybe things, we have all these people around us, and we have kind of this group power and this camaraderie. It doesn't always hold up, within any group there are, infighting, and there are things that don't need to happen, right? And that does still happen within the community, and it's sad that it happens within the community, but it does. But I think they're getting better. As Andrew said, it's refreshing to see young people nowadays feel safe to be who they are. I did things that were probably considered relatively dangerous sometimes. Sometimes my friends were afraid to be seen around me because of that, I think. But that's just the age that it was. And it is good to see people now who can feel free to be more who they are. Not everyone is safe, though, and not every location or area is safe. So it's one of those things that we don't take for granted that it's happening. And just because we're not talking about it so much, through our businesses, or, even me personally a lot on social media, it's not something, that doesn't mean that we diminish it, or that we think it's not important. It is very important, I think. And, it's one of those things that it is a core part of who we are. And, if you don't agree with that, then we have a lot of other friends and supporters who do. And that's kind of, for a long time, Andrew and I say the word partner a lot, because that can mean business, that can mean life. It's one of those ambiguous terms. And sometimes when you say husband in store, that throws people off, and you lose customers sometimes. It's still something we're fighting against. It's still something that's not easy. And so, it is important, I think, that any of you out there who are allies, or even in the community, help support your friends and your community, especially during this month, but all the time. Um, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, and it shouldn't be hard. I talked a little bit about this the other day about how treat animals kindly, treat people kindly. I don't believe in a hierarchy of this creature is above this creature. So I don't. I really don't get the problem, but some people have one, and so yeah, it's just I just want to say how important it is and how meaningful and special you all are out there who do continue to support us and do believe in our life and who we are, and support us 100%, whether that's through business or personally. We don't take that for granted. I could never take that for granted, especially after how I grew up and the things I went through growing up. So thank you. Let's see what everyone's saying out here. I'm scrolling. Let's see. Oh, I think I missed. There we are. Marianne says there are a lot of changes to the attitude in LGBTQIA plus persons, but it still needs work. It does. It does. Terry says, I am so sorry. It sounds horrible. Kids can be immeasurably cruel and never fully understand the weight of their words. It wasn't just words for me. It was physical abuse. And teachers and coaches did nothing about it. So, and this was up through me being a senior in high school. I felt weakened by it all. As anybody who suffers from any kind of abuse, I think you can understand, especially how weak it can make you feel. And so at some point, you don't even try to fight back anymore. And that's what it was. That's what started happening. So yeah, it can be hard. Words and fists. Hello, Lorraine. Thank you for joining us today. My sister's 13-year-old is non-binary. I'm so glad they felt that they had a safe space to come out. We are going to our first Pride Parade in Detroit this weekend as a family. That's awesome, Brooke. I'm glad that they are in an environment where that is understood and they are understood. So thank you for that. Molly says, hi, everybody. My daughters identify as lesbian and bi, so pride is something we are familiar with. That's great. That's great. And again, I'm glad that they have, an environment where that is okay. I must say my family was very okay. I didn't have an issue within my family, which I was very fortunate for. A lot of my friends did not have that same, loving environment, and that was very hard on them. Let's see here. And it says, I love LGBTQ and BIPOC. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and with us. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. I don't know, but also like Scully and Mulder on X-Files, I like it because it sounds like you kicked down a door for me and saved me from aliens. I don't know what that's talking about. I don't know where that is, but that's funny. Terry says, I don't have to look at Florida, but I do feel that far more adults fully comprehend their actions and words and know the blow they are dealing. They simply do not care. That can be a thing too. Some people don't. Or some people are doing it intentionally, even, which, not caring, and then there's doing something and regretting it and caring about it. There's doing something and not caring, and then there's doing something intentionally. I think there are all these levels of things. And some people don't understand, they don't understand trans, they don't understand gay, they don't understand any of it. And it's sad. It's sad because, it's just letting people be who they are. And I don't think that's a bad thing, to let somebody be who they are. when you're not hurting anyone else, right? You're not hurting anyone. Oh, my comments are skipping here. Susan says ally here. Thank you so much. Terry said that came out Florida, and it's not exclusive to Florida. Is what no, it's not. It's not exclusive to any region, any territory. You know, that happens the world over. And there's still a lot of work to be done all over the place. Lorraine says, I'm with you, William. Thank you so much. Institutional hatred is a hard thing to break. Yeah, it is. As Andrew said, we say it's just kids, but they learn it from somewhere. I've seen plenty of cruel adults who are grown. Yeah, kids learn it from somewhere. Most of the time, kids are some of the most open people until they learn it from somewhere. They learn that method of being, that method of not accepting from somewhere. Suzanne says it's not just kids. Our legislature passed a transgender law, and most adults are supporting it. Makes me sick. I'm assuming you mean against transgender. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and I don't know why so many people have an issue with people being who they are. I just don't get it. I can't fathom it. I wasn't raised that way, though. I wasn't raised to just hate someone because of their color or because of who they are or, you know, what their appearance is. My mama raised me right, I think, and didn't raise me with that kind of looking at other people like they're less than. Terry says, I was not trying to exclude the physical abuse. I didn't mean you were. I was also a victim of that throughout school, and it is horrible to have to go to school afraid. And I'm sorry that happened to you. And it is a horrible thing. You know, I think gym class was the only class, like I was an A and B student, mostly A, sometimes B. I think gym class was the only class I got a D in because I just kept saying I forgot my clothes. So I couldn't dress for gym. I didn't just forget my clothes every day. I would rather not be in with everyone in the locker room every day, every class. And the fact that that happened and no one, you know, no one saw that that was an issue. Like I wasn't obviously someone who forgot things. I was an A and B student. I did very well. But no one thought to look at that grade and we're like, I wonder if something's happening here. It just kind of, you know, those are the kind of things that, you know, I think there are good teachers out there. There are a lot of good teachers out there. That's a whole other issue. And I was lucky to have some that, you know, offered me safe spaces. And so, things were worked on a little bit here and there from some other people, but generally, yeah, it was one of those things. You know, I hated days where I had gym class, hated them. If I could get out of them and go to study halls or go, you know, to another department and have my gym class as a working class somewhere else, I did that. But it was hard. It was hard. Andrew said his parents still have issues. They're trying, but it's hard for them. Yeah, I mean, they have, I believe, accepted me and accepted us for the most part, but I know that they still have issues, and some people just don't understand those things, you know. But I think, you know, the way I look at things, if I don't understand something, I try and ask myself, does it matter if I understand it? It doesn't, right? It doesn't really matter if you understand it or not. I think maybe it's harder for parents because they have an image of you in their head. My mom's kind of only thing when I told her reaction was she just knew that my life was going to be harder, and she was sorry that that was a thing. Not that I was gay or that it was just she was sorry that my life was probably going to be harder. And you know, I've been very fortunate for the most part that our life has been good, but it's not good for a lot of people out there. And that's one of those things that, you know, Pride and the Pride Month hopefully show people and hopefully, remind people that it's not easy for everyone still. It's not easy for most people still. Oh, X-File part comment is about the word partner. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, just scrolled again, jumped again. Kimberly says, I have a close relative who identifies as non-binary and is going through terrible bullying as we speak, in person, even more so online. We stand united as a family, but it is tough for them. Yeah, online was not a thing that I had to deal with. And, you know, our niece has gone through things online and bullying online. And it's a hard thing, right? As much as you want to say that it's just, oh, it's just online, it's just words. It's not just words. It's not just, an easy thing. Um, and it's hard to deal with, and it's hard to find the source of some of that. And, back in my day, even though it wasn't really done, um, you could at least generally find the person doing it and you could reprimand them in some way, or, you know, they could be expelled from school. But an online thing, it's very difficult these days. Anybody can create a profile and start something. And so it's hard to trace the source back a lot of times without getting authorities or higher authorities involved in that. So, Kimberly, I'm sorry that's happening. Um, and it's just people being who they are. And I keep saying that. I just don't get it. I don't get why people have issues with people being who they are. It just astounds me. Um, Unfortunately, this is true, says Molly. My special needs younger daughter is lesbian, and she's talked to me about people who are not supportive. She has friends whose parents are not supportive. We are very supportive. Yeah, it's scary because there were times I didn't even go to friends' houses because we didn't know, like, maybe we heard their parents were religious, or their parents didn't understand something. And there were times you couldn't have just you couldn't just go to a sleepover, you couldn't just hang out with your friends at their houses, because you didn't know what their parents were going to be like and how they were going to react to you if they assumed. Back in my day, you didn't talk about it that much, so people just assumed. So you didn't know how parents were going to treat you, or how their dads were going to treat you, if they thought you were gay, or how they were going to treat their own kids for being friends with you. So just the fact that you could lose friends if their parents thought you were gay, and it still happens. It still happens. And it's, like I said, it's insane to me to think about. Susan says, I hated school. I was bullied terribly for being an oddball, and I still feel the effects 42 years later, right? I went through a lot. Not that other people didn't. I don't mean to make it sound like you didn't. I was gay and hiding it. I was terribly skinny and small. I was very, very skinny and lanky and tall. So I had that kind of odd look going for me. For the longest time, I had a huge overbite, which was corrected dentally later in my life. But I had a huge overbite, skinny, lanky, and tall, hiding being gay, had patches of pigment from vitiligo happen about the time, around 13 or so, 13, 14. So my skin got patchy. And at that point, because that was happening to me, the only thing I could think to do was to cover up. So I started wearing suits to school. So people thought I was, either religious or stuck up, or, that I had to wear suits to school. But that's the way I chose to do it, because that was a wall building mechanism for me. And we build these walls to protect ourselves, right? So all of that stuff happened at the same time. Plus, I was being picked on in gym class. And not just in gym class, every once in a while you just have somebody come by and slam you into a locker and keep going. So there was a lot going on at the same time. And, I felt like, as Susan says, I felt like an oddball. And there was also more going on than I wanted to let, everybody know. My dad was a was a drug addict and alcoholic, and he was coming home at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and my parents were having to yell at each other, and we were waking up the neighbors, and I'm sure the neighbors knew, but we didn't talk about it. So I'm sure that was going around. There was just a lot going on. I was very lucky to have, you know, one or two very solid friends who we stuck by each other through everything. Um, but yeah, those effects last a very long time. The fact that I'm, you know, I'm able to wear shorts again finally from the vitiligo, even though mine has mostly all, my pigment mostly all went away. Um, I think it was mostly stress from my dad's alcoholism and drug addiction and things I was going through that killed off probably the rest of my pigment for the most part. Some people have patches still, and when I see these people, I know what it is. I know how hard it can be. Sometimes I talk to them about it if they're open to it. Sometimes I just stay quiet because I know how hard it is. But those walls that you build up to protect yourself from things like this, as Susan said, even 42 years later, they still affect you. And that's why Pride, I think, as a month and just as an idea is so important because, you know, everyone in the community, mostly everyone, I can't speak for everyone, but everyone I've known builds up some sort of wall to protect themselves in some way or, you know, at some point in time. And being able to break down these walls and making it easier to break down these walls or not have to build them in the first place is super, super important. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I didn't mean to go about, I wasn't even planning to go on about this today. So I'm sorry for all of you who are like, why are we talking about this? But I do think it's important. I do think it's important. You know, it's not about beads. Um, but it does go back to all of you out there who do support us. Um, you know, I still have a tendency to think, oh, they're supporting us even though we're gay. There's still that idea from growing up like that of, well, even though we're this, they're still going to at least support us. They're still, you know, like they're, it's like you're devaluing yourself because of what you are. And there's still that little hint of that that runs around my head. Um, and it's sad, and it's sad, and I'm glad to see that I think some younger people are able to not have to do that, but I know there are a lot who still do, especially in rural communities. Marianne says, what people choose to do with their love life ought to be up to them. Exactly. Who they want to be with. Um, you know, as long as you're two consensual people, two consensual adults, as they say, what does it matter to the rest of the world? It doesn't. It shouldn't. Let people be happy. I just don't get it. Molly says, my husband had the same experience in high school. It's hard, right? And online is horrible. Andrew says, my parents still call William my friend. They accept William in our family, but there's still inequities or inequalities. Like they have been to everyone else's graduations, weddings, special events, but they've never come to Pennsylvania. They would not even come to the wedding, even though we offered to pay. But it is what it is. Yeah. You know, I'm lucky that at least they do, you know, welcome me into the family, and they have done that. It's small steps, you know, but they are steps. But yeah, they didn't come to the wedding, didn't come to his graduations. Um, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing. And I have many other friends who have gone through that too. Harry says, my niece and several other family members are LGBTQ. My niece took her life 3 weeks ago. She was never happy. I'm sorry to hear that, Harry. I had no idea. Um, I should have read that comment before I read it. Yeah, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to diminish that, but I'm not going to say too much on it because that's a hard one for me because I've known people who have, and I'm really sorry that that happened. Um, that does happen, and it happens far too often. Um, Kimberly said, "Yes, this is the experience, and they are not able to find peace even alone. Thank you for this safe space." You know, we try. Speaking of safe spaces, it's one of the reasons. It's one of I'm still um it's one of the reasons I'm still thinking of Harry's comment too. It's one of the reasons that we are trying to keep our store in existence. We've had a number of, LGBTQIA people through who, they are not treated well. They don't have a place. They don't have a family sometimes anymore. And it's hard for them. And I know how hard it is because I went through a lot of it. And our store is a place where even if they don't buy something, they can come in and talk. I didn't have that growing up. And I think a lot of other people didn't have that growing up. So it's one of the reasons the store is important to me personally. And when we think about possibly having to close the store, it's not so much about, it's about the creative community. It's about keeping the creativity going, and the fact that arts in schools are being cut, and a lot of that isn't available to people anymore. But it's also about the people in the LGBTQIA plus and the BIPOC community who don't have a place to go. And so we offer them a safe space, and we try to let people know, however and wherever we can, that Allegory Gallery is a place to come. It is a place to be safe. You are not going to, be rushed out the door. You are not going to walk in and, we'll ask people to leave if they come in harassing anybody who is inside. We're not, we're not afraid to do that. So it's a safe space, and it's, in a rural community like we're lucky that, we do have a lot of acceptance here. But a lot of people who, dress in different ways, or, I think transgender is also a very still heavily targeted community. We give anybody space to be, if they need a safe space. And so that's one of those things that our discussions here are safe spaces to be. At least I hope that's the case. We want that to feel like that both in our virtual communities and in our physical community. And it's very important to us to offer that to people. And so when we discuss closing the store, it's not just the creative aspect that would be lost, but it would be a safe space for some of these community members that would be lost. And that's a heavy, as I'm trying not to break down, that's a heavy thing to think about closing. That weighs heavily on our minds, which is one of the reasons why, even though the store is falling further and further away from, our goals, and it still supports itself, which is lucky for us. But it's getting closer and closer to that break even point. And to think about closing, there's a lot of things, but in our minds always is the fact that it would be a safe space closing down. And I know how important that would have been to me growing up, and I didn't have that. So I like to make sure that we offer that. So Kimberly, thank you for the idea about the safe space. Marian says, just now I'm thinking I was a lucky child. A lot of people, I still feel lucky. Even though I went through everything I went through, I feel lucky that, I have what I have. I have all of you out there who support us and, and follow our mission. And, we're still lucky people. We've been able to build this world, and hopefully we can make it a nicer place for others, who are having a hard time. Susan says, simply for being the oddball who preferred art, books, and music, being on the autistic spectrum didn't help. My family was supportive. Growing in the heartland in the 70s, if you were a girl whose only interests were, if you were a girl, the only interests allowed were boys and looks. Anything else made you a weirdo. Yeah, I can't. That we talk about the '60s and '70s as some. We look back on it nostalgically, um, and think of it as some. Some free time and some where minds were changing, and I think they were. But I mean, obviously, you have the experience that wasn't always the case. Susan says, every once in a while I was bullied because of my last name. I'm more bullied about it online than I was during my years in school. Isn't that, yeah, it's crazy that you can still be bullied as an adult for something that, it's such a childish thing, right? I don't get it. Andrew says, you still get it, Susan, and the ones doing it are grown. Yeah, it's grown people. Like, it's her last name. Like, it's a legitimate last name. It's one of those things, um, and people, grown adults, still, I don't get it. Okay, where am I at here? It just skipped again. Sorry. Where are we at? A lot of Helen saying sorry to Harry. A lot of sorries. Yeah, that's an awful thing to have to go through. I can't imagine. Harry says, I support you because your products are good and you're both good people. Thank you. We try. We try our best. Just going to throw a few comments up here. A lot of people supporting Harry, which I think that's where we should be putting our support right now. Molly says, that's why we support you, William. You're caring for people of all walks of life. And we do. We try. Andrew and I both try very hard. Terry says, I wish I lived closer. I would love to see you hosting a community night for people to have a safe space to come monthly or weekly for a chat and visit. Yeah, it's things we've talked about. There are safety concerns in gathering, though. And, I don't know that that would be a concern in our town. I don't know. But it's hard to announce. It's one of those things that you go up against. Just having a kind of mixer in a safe space like that, and then you worry about people knowing that you're gathering. It's such a hard thing. Um, we would love to do more things like that, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Ender says, I think one of the lovely things about our community is that we learn and grow from each other. I remember an event we had where someone who was super conservative was in a group with someone who is transgender. And at first they didn't feel comfortable, but afterwards they were able to have meaningful conversations. Recently, I saw the same person defend transgender rights online, and it was such a beautiful thing. That's the thing, is sometimes when you have a community and you host things where people come together. I got to clear this because people can't see me. Where people come together, you can change minds, right? And just by having people in the same room talking sometimes and having to face each other and listen to each other, you can change minds, and that's what we hope to do. Um, Susan says, I want everyone to know that when I was bullied online, Andrew stood up for me, and I'm forever grateful to have his support. It was a local Facebook page. Yeah, it was an awful thing. It was an awful and unnecessary thing. Andrew said, we used to have Sunday dinners, and then the pandemic happened. Yeah, we had started to have some Sunday dinners and some some just kind of even pajama parties and things like that where people could come and just hang out, and we'd bring board games or potluck, and we'd hang out and do things. And then the pandemic happened and that all kind of got canceled. But we were starting to really gear up for a lot of that kind of thing, and it was something that a lot of people, different walks of life, from all walks of life, were coming to, and it was a beautiful thing. And hopefully we'll still be in existence to keep doing it again here, when things, hopefully things settle down a little bit. Okay, well, really, that was 45 minutes of me talking about all that, and I didn't even mean to get off on that topic, and we've had some good talks. And now I feel weird even going into showing you any products, because it's such a, we've had such a, I don't know, we've had such a conversation. But for anybody rewatching this who wants to see products, they're not going to know this happened until they watch it. So I'm going to show you some products now. I should have just made this a let's chat, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't know we were going to get into all of that. And yeah, so let's just look at some stuff. Let's just look at some stuff. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to mention is that I know most of you out there who watch these videos have seen these, but Andrew, on his Tuesdays, he does a lot of tutorials. And today, I took some pictures of some of these that I found around here. We need to set up a system where Andrew's finished projects go into a box afterwards so I can take pictures of them. They sometimes just get scattered around here at Star Cottage Studio. So I found a few, and I wanted to let you know that you can go back and rewatch these. So this one in particular was the one he did yesterday. This is the finished product of this one. And I know in his video he said he wasn't sure if these pearls were online. There are a lot of these vintage. These are vintage freshwater pearls, old stock pearls. This exact strand I didn't link to, but there are lots of different kinds of pearls, different colors, different shapes, some faceted, excuse me, that are in the online store. So with these three projects that I'm going to kind of go over with you that he did, I linked in the YouTube description and on Facebook links to the components. So I made a link with a link to this video with each of the components that you could use in it that we sell on the website. I'm going to try and get better at doing that. Andrew says I usually have pictures. I usually add a picture as a comment after it's done, but I'm going to try to do better at taking those pictures or taking other pictures and adding the links inside the video descriptions, and then also sharing those on Facebook and YouTube and all that. So if you're looking for some very nice, Susan says that's very cute. AG has lovely pearl strands. Thank you. If you're looking for some gorgeous old stock, we can't take all the credit. We found them, but somebody had them in their stock and had them for a long time. So if you're looking for gorgeous pearls like these, check out the description of that video again. And it's now on YouTube. And you can buy these, you can buy this. These are the AG Fine Pewter line. You can buy vintage pearls as well. All right, so very pretty bracelet. Marion says, actually, I love the empathy building in these chats. I do too. I do too. And it's good to know you're surrounded by people who care too. You know what? You can never hear I support you enough, honestly, whether it's about LGBTQIA+, BIPOC, or just, small businesses in general. You can't hear I support you enough. Also, Andrew did these, the Prayers for Ukraine earrings, the fringe earrings. So if you're looking to buy the Prayers for Ukraine bead blend, I linked that, and also this groovy 8-strand kind of connector here. You can also purchase that through the links in the YouTube video. And I also shared posts on Facebook for that. So that's another concept that you can purchase those or make. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily these beads either. You can make any kind of fringe earrings, and they're nice and light. And then the other one that I found here was this one. This is the amulet necklace that Andrew did a while back. Let me get these, if I can get these in the right order. Trying. There we go. As I'm doing it off screen, because I'm looking at the thing, not on screen. And of course I did it upside down backwards, but this is the amulet necklace. And let me flip it over because this is the front side really. And that only matters mostly for this one. This amulet here is in the antique copper in the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter line. This is a little vine flower in antique gold. You have the mermaid here that he put in here in the antique silver color. And then you have this groovy rectangle that you can use to add things that has holes all over it. And he showed you how to wire wrap this and how to build this out too. So that link to the video is in the post, or if you go to the video on YouTube, you can also get the links to all of these things to purchase as well. All right. Okay. So I just want to let you know I posted those. I shared some stories, shared some posts about those. Be sure to check out his tutorials if you missed any. Most of the time, if you check for Andrew's lives, a lot of them are demos and tutorials. Andrew says, we had one event where the attendees had all unknowingly to each other had lost someone close to them. So they were able to talk about their grief and process it together. Some of them are close friends now, and I like to think that we were part of how they started their friendship. Yeah, you know, when you have a little store, it often becomes more than just the store, more than just selling, and we quickly found that out. And we try to embrace that as much as possible. Susan says, love the amulet necklace. Kimberly says, awesome amulet necklace, Andrew. Beautiful and so many options when creating this style. Yeah, and remember, you can add a lot of the different Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter collection on here. And you can add all different things. And we have such great price points on them. So we hope you like that. We hope you take time to look through the entire collection because there's really some awesome items. I shared some more photos of some today as well. Just to some little groupings, or maybe they're actually, no, I scheduled them. They're going to go out tomorrow. So stay tuned for those, and you'll see some of the fine pewter pieces in different colors, and you can add them on things like this. Bracelets, amulet necklaces. All right. Next up, first up, really, we have these awesome vintage melon glass beads. Vintage melon glass beads. I think these are $10.50 a strand. What you see here is the strand. Excuse me. And these just hit the online store today. They should be in the vintage glass bead collection, or you can go to the latest editions. I always tell people, if you're watching these videos, hit up that latest editions collection and you'll see all of this stuff populate right there for you. All right. Andrew said, another one of our clubs that became a hangout for moms running to different events. We used to joke around that it was called wine time, and they were a support network for things happening with their kids. Yeah, you know, these things develop out of necessity sometimes, and we're always glad to be a part of it. Now here we have some little fluted melon cut matte lampwork beads. These are not necessarily vintage. These are, I think, $5 a strand, less than the other ones. The other ones are much older. So you get these little ones in red, and there are some other ones that are kind of matching the blue ones that I showed you. in age and vintage goodness in the online store too. If they're still available, you can check those out. As Andrew said, none of them actually make any jewelry anymore. At least we haven't seen them in a while, but they do still get together. We know that. And I just dropped things. So let me pick this up. Susan says red is the very pretty color. It is. It's a nice cherry red. I think we only have 2 strands of those. And they're only, I think, $5 a strand. So grab them if you like them. Sorry, I feel like I have a pollen in my throat now. Next up, I don't know if I showed these before or not. We have these beautiful amethyst rough cut drops. And there's kind of this matte amethyst rough cut drop. Only 1 strand of these in the online store if it's still there, if it hasn't sold already. $31.25 I think is the price on these. $31.25 for the full strand. I think if you search rough cut teardrop, that'll pop up. We did have some labradorite ones and some green garnet ones. I'm not sure what's left that are like these, but I love these. I think they're beautiful. I think they are beautiful. And, whoops. I think they're sticking. I just want to check something really quickly here. Yeah, $31.25. That's right. Now, these next ones, I don't know where these were found, or how these got lost, but check these out. You can probably tell from that flash what these are. Suzanne says, this group is very supportive, different from others for sure. Thank you. You know, I think when things happen, you try to work hard. You know, you either turn hard or you try to work hard to not have those things happen anymore. And I think that's why it's important for Andrew and I to create this safe space and to create a space where we talk about these things sometimes. You know, not everyone's going to like it. I'm at 15 viewers right now. So I can tell you right now, there's probably people out there who may not have liked what we talked about. Normally we're up in the 30s or close to 30 viewers at a time. So yeah, you know, sometimes it turns people off, but I think it's important to talk about these things. And I think it's important, you know, for people to know that's where we come from. That's why we ask you to share, because we know we're not for everyone. So we trust that hopefully the people you share with, that we might be for them. So these are sapphires. These are beautiful, oval, faceted, blue sapphires. And we have 1 strand of these. It is $155. Which is a great price right now for sapphires. Andrew said, you know, I realize there's a shelf life for most people. People come and go. It used to make me sad when folks would move on, but now I just feel grateful for the time we did share and hope that when they think of us, they do so fondly, right? Molly says, are more people viewing on YouTube these days? I'm out of the loop. We are trying to get everyone to view, or as many people as we can to view on YouTube. We are trying to push people over to YouTube because we need subscriptions and we need watch hours over there to try to monetize our YouTube channel so that we can maybe make some money off of the ads they're already showing on our videos. We get videos on or we get ads on our videos. I just saw 2 of them today, but we don't get any money from that. So if we get more viewers and more watch hours over there, we're now at the point we need 4,000 watch hours in a year. We're now at about, I think, 2,000. We've just about hit half. So the more people that watch us on YouTube, and the longer you watch us on YouTube, the closer we'll get to our goal of being able to monetize YouTube and make some money off of the ads that they're already showing. And that's passive income. Hopefully that will help. Okay, next up, we have these beautiful green amethyst tubes. Prasiolite, green amethyst tubes. These are approximately 15 millimeter by 8 millimeter tubes. And I can't believe this price. Holy moly. They're only $18.50 for that strand, which is insane. There's only one strand available. That must have been a very old price, exceptionally old price, $18.50. You should grab that strand if you love it. That's a crazy good price. Crazy good price. I hope our helper who posted these got that right. But there it is. $18.50 for Prasiolite. Andrew says, Susan, surreal that it's okay. Not everyone can be a ride or die like you. Yeah, Susan's been with us for a very long time. I think before we even had the store. Was a follower of Andrew's, so we appreciate you very, very much. So this looks like it was a strand that came apart. Looks like it's a strand that came apart. And these are multi-tourmaline ovals. They're approximately 15 millimeters by 12 millimeters. I just want to go in here real quick. Yeah, we only have the one set. I wanted to see. And so we only have the one, which would have been a strand, the one set of these little pebbles. Andrew says, I love them, right? All these fun little whoa, as I just dropped one again. Some days I'm just clumsier than others. So here, those are one set of them available for only $14. $14. So that's a good deal. Grab that if you want it. Andrew says, if you don't want to sell them, I will keep them, right? Susan says, I think I date back to 2007 or 2008. Yeah, Andrew and I met in 2007. You may have been following him close to that or even before we met. And let's see here. Another odd nen that we found. Sterling silver. Kim just switched over to YouTube. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Andrew says, Susan was before you. Yeah, right? So that was even before 2000. Well, at least before November 12th, 2007, right? Mary says the dropsies. Yeah, I have the dropsies for sure today. So we have these sterling silver, 3 cherry, no, apple blossom. These are 3 apple blossom charms. They're $5.30. $5.30 only. That's an old price. It's a very old price. Sterling silver. We have a few of those in stock. I think there are 3 or 4 of them available. So if you like those are cute, get them. What day did we get engaged? We got engaged, I think it was either today or 2 days ago. I think it was in June, early June, June 6th, June 8th. I think it was. We may have missed our engagement day. I can't remember. I have all the dates in my head except that one because that was such a strange day. Okay. Terry says those apple blossoms would be fun to resin if I knew how to resin. They're very tiny. They're very tiny. I don't know how you would, that would be hard. So next up, we have some cabochons. And let me scroll. I'm just looking at my computer here, my laptop, my iPad, so I can get the right price. Rose quartz. Rose quartz. Kim says, you're welcome, and I go by Kim anyways. My Facebook profile is my fancy pants full name. I never know who people are talking to, right? I get it. I get it. So we have rose quartz cabochons. These are approximately 19 millimeter by 13 millimeter. They look kind of like, I don't know what color that is. Not so pink in the photos or in the video, but they are very pretty in pink. So these cabs are available only $2.50 each in the online store. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 of them. Gilbert toes. They look like kitty toes. A little kitten. He's not a kitten anymore, but jelly bean toes. Bean toes. Cindy says why is Cynthia's comment not coming up for me? I can't, there it is. We put this on the YouTube on the TV. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, it's easier to watch the YouTube stuff on the TV because most smart TVs have a YouTube app built in. Plus, YouTube allows you to rewind and throughout a live, where Facebook doesn't. Facebook makes you watch wherever you start watching. But if you come into these late, if you're on YouTube, you can start from the beginning and watch all the way through instead of having to catch up later. And it's easier on the big screen, and YouTube quality seems to be better streaming quality than Facebook. Andrew says, I've been talking with the Interweave folks to hopefully get something going. We'll see if anything comes of it. Wonder what he's working on. Marion says, my cat toes are not pink. I can't hit the last comment. There we go. My cat toes are not pink. Some of ours are pink. Gilbert has all pink toes. All pink toes for Mr. Gilbert. Next up, these are teeny tiny little beads. And I'm trying to see. I don't even think. Here, I'm going to show you. These are teeny tiny little leaves. Cynthia says, I like to comment on Facebook, though. It is easier to comment on Facebook, I think. I can't even tell where. Talk about my eyesight. I honestly don't think these have holes. They're teeny tiny leaves. These would be great for, setting in epoxy or in resin, but I can't. It's hard for me to see here because my lighting is not the greatest. There might be a hole going through up and down, but I don't think so. I don't think these have any holes in them at all. And so these would be something, they are flat back though. They are pretty flat on the back. Not entirely flat. So these would be something you could set in resin or use in other art projects. They're 25 cents each for each little leaf if you want any of those. And we have them also in pink. So we use them in pink too, or have them in pink too. I can't tell if there's a hole there or not. It's making me crazy. But I can't see through, so I'm pretty sure these are just cabs. No holes in them at all. And they're 25 cents each. If you want to use them in your art projects, I would love to actually see how somebody uses these. I think that would be very fun. Kim says maybe bead embroidery, possibly. I'm not a bead embroidery person. I don't know how hard that would be or easy that would be. But you could definitely do these in resin. You could do these in epoxy clay, set them in there. Yeah. The other cabs that we have, oh, Andrew said I got those for the epoxy clay. See, so there you go. That would be a way to use those. We also have these. Check those out. Aren't those fun? So those are cabs. And as soon as I can get my face recognized, they're $1.25 each only. 20 millimeters by 15 millimeters. And each one is different. Each one is different. And we have a number of those. They are glass, vintage glass. They're actually vintage German. And I believe Western, yes, vintage Western German glass. So each one's different. No two are the same. And we have an assortment of them. You can check on the online store. You can see pictures, but they're $1.25 each. They're priced each. Oh, there, I just made a mess of that. I'm good at making a mess of things. No comments, Andrew. Okay. These are gorgeous. Quote unquote European crystal. We can't say the S word, right? Vintage European crystal air opal drops. Approximately 24 millimeters by 12 millimeters. They are $6 each. $6 each. Look at those. I love those. Andrew says, oh, I love these. Look at that shine. Only $6 each. What you see is all that we have. Once those are gone, they are gone. I even want to save one for myself because look at that. Put that on a piece of chain and it is a necklace. I might just do that. Those are gorgeous. So we only have, I think there's 12 of them available, $6 each. All right, let me put these, they're all in this nice little tray. And I just dumped them all out. So let me put them back in here so that I don't make more of a mess. But Andrew says those would be nice in earrings. They would. They would. I never think of earrings as much for some things because I don't wear earrings. But I would put one of those on a chain, on a pendant. Done. Gorgeous crystals. $6 each only. Vintage S-word European crystals. Okay. Next up, I told you we had a lot for you today, right? I told you we had a lot. These are briolettes. Beautiful briolettes. They're 75 cents each, and we have them in lots of colors. So I'm just going to show you some of these colors. These are Czech, vintage Czech. This is the light sapphire color. Vintage briolettes. Andrew says, I'm thinking of turning the earrings I made for the snag conference into pendants because they are very heavy. That might, or they're a little heavy. Yeah, unless you like heavy. Some people wear the heavy earrings and don't care. But I think they'd be beautiful as a pendant too. So these are briolettes, vintage Czech glass, approximately 9 millimeter by 8 millimeter. This is the light sapphire color. And again, only 75 cents per bead. And all of these next ones I'm going to show you are the same size, same price, just different colors. So I will tell you the color as you go so you know what to look for if you'd like to buy any of these in the online store. Okay, let's see here. These next ones are the ruby color. Oops, one of them got away, one of the blues got away. Kim says it was the briolettes that caught my eye pre-show, right? That's why I put them as the image. They're just beautiful. And they're only 75 cents each, which I think for these vintage ones is a good deal. And these are the garnet color. The garnet color. And again, these are 9mm by 8mm approximately. The hole goes from front to back. So it goes through this way. Sometimes the holes go sideways. These go front to back. So those are the garnet color. And like I said, we put these at 75 cents each. We figured, we could sell them by a bunch of them or a bag of them, but figured let you pick. If you want to make some earrings, you can change different colors. You don't have to buy a whole pack of 10 or whatever just to, buy different colors. You can, if you want to make a rainbow of them, you can do that, and you can just buy them individually, however you want. This one is light rose. Boy, it's so light rose, you can barely see that it's light rose on camera. They're paler on the camera than they are in person. They have a nice pink tone to them. Andrew says, I got the whole rainbow of colors. Yeah, you did, which is great. Got lots of beautiful colors to show you in these. Next up, we have the peridot color. Again, these are check glass crystal briolettes. This is peridot. Peridot color. They're all check glass. Again, approximately 9mm by 8mm faceted briolettes. Only 75 cents each. So you don't have to buy a bag of them. You don't have to buy them in bulk. You can buy individually and pick the colors you want. Make up your own shopping cart full of beautiful briolettes. Molly says a chain briolette rainbow necklace would be pretty. That would be really pretty. Very, very pretty. This is emerald. Emerald color. That beautiful dark green. I love these things. Like we have these now in the online store. We also have some beautiful cubic zirconia briolettes that I don't have a clue why they're not sold out yet. When I look at them, they are so beautiful. I don't know why they're still there. Like these would be so easy to add on to some chain and make little earrings, or as Molly said, a pretty necklace. I just don't get it. But hey, to each their own, right? This is light amethyst. Light amethyst. And these are all available online already for you. You can get them If you search the latest editions collection, you'll definitely see them. Andrew says, I don't know why either. The CZ, the cubic zirconia, is so pretty and sparkly, right? Have not seen the CZ, need to go look. Yeah, check that out because they are amazing. I showed them on a video once, but they are so sparkly. Like, if you think these are sparkly, wait till you see those. These are great, and these are lovely. They're only 75 cents. I think the cubic zirconia ones are $4 each or $5 each. But this is amethyst. These are Czech glass, and they are amazing for Czech glass. They are beautiful. Vintage Czech glass briolettes. 9mm by 8mm. Marianne says, because you give us so many gorgeous things to choose from with a limited budget. We're just going to have to stop giving you more things. We'll just let you catch up. I wish it were that easy in business. We'll just like take a pause, let everybody catch up. It just doesn't work that way, though. Molly says, I really like these briolettes. Me too. Me too. Let me see if they use the same name for this one. Yeah, good. Sometimes they change the names on me. Our helpers, I mean. This is Montana Blue, is this color. I love Montana Blue. It's a color that we see sometimes with European crystal, I think, and some other places, but I just love it. It's kind of this beautiful blue with almost just a tad of mossy green in it. I love Montana Blue. That's what these are. Montana Blue. Andrew said, Cynthia, I know that's your flavor. Oh, I like those. I like those too so much. Next up, we have just crystal. Crystal, crystal, crystal clear. I think with all the colors, you always have to have some of this clear crystal too, because it just really stands out. So there's crystal. These are, again, 9 by 8mm vintage Czech glass briolettes, faceted briolettes. They are 75 cents each only. 75 cents each only. Next up, this is Black Diamond is the color. Black Diamond is kind of a gray-green kind of color. Black Diamond is what this color is called. Norma says, I used to only like smooth stones and glass, not a fan of the facets, but I'm starting to change. These are gorgeous, right? There's something to be said for smooth, right? Because you can just tumble it and you get the beautiful, beautiful look. But sometimes a nice facet, sometimes it can be too flashy, right? People worry about getting things that are too flashy. And I think that's sometimes the problem people have with faceted things, is that they can look very dressy or very like too upscale too easily. But these would be just flirty fun, right? I think with anything. If you make them into a bracelet, little charm bracelet with some of these on it, and that would be lovely. Little earrings, a little pop of color. I think because you can mix all these colors, sometimes when you mix colors, it becomes, instead of becoming dressy and formal, it just becomes fun. This is Jet. That beautiful black color, Jet. And I think that's really the thing with these. Like, you could make these very dressy by using monotone colors, right? But if you mix some colors together, that's why we wanted to sell them individually instead of making you buy whole bags of different colors or whole strands of the same color. You can pick your colors, mix them up, And you can take it from being super dressy to just something that's fun and cool. And Susan was talking about the black diamond being kind of a smoke gray. Yes, and it has a little bit of a green in it. There is a little bit of a green. It's so strange, but it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. Next up, we have the color aqua. Aqua. And this is like a Caribbean blue. Look at that beautiful blue color. Beautiful aqua is what we call that. Oh, Anderson, me and Babette are picking wild strawberries. Oh, you have Babette out in the yard. She went out with me a little bit and her brothers this morning. We did a little bit in the yard. Yeah, the wild strawberries are starting to pop up. So much sparkle, says Teresa, right? Oops. I didn't catch my screen before it died again. So I'm just making sure. I wrote colors on these bags, but sometimes they change. This is, yes, same color. Next up is the color, Norma loves the aqua, right? Next up is sapphire. That's the color. They are check glass. They are not sapphires, but the color is sapphire. And so they're doing construction a few doors down. We might go back in. Yeah, they started that. There was some kind of paint smell and stuff. And I don't like the cats to inhale fumes. So I took them back in too. Marianne says you can make a different pair of earrings for every mood, right? Yeah, you could do them whether you wanted it dressy and all monotone or different colors, or if you have a, you know, like different colors that you use in your outfit regularly, you could do different colors together, special combinations for you together. Maybe you like to wear blues a lot. You can mix some of these blues together. Anderson Barnaby is like, what the heck? He didn't get to go out. He went out earlier with me. So he got some time outside. So I can only watch one at a time. Yeah, especially when you're watching the live too, right? They're pretty good outside, but I still like to keep an eye on them. Especially, we have a robin's nest, everyone. We have a robin's nest on our back porch above our grapevine that grows there, and there are 3 robin's eggs in there, 3 blue little eggs. And so the robin was flying around this morning yelling at us, like, what the heck? What the heck are you doing? And so definitely Babette was very interested in the robin flying around, more so than the boys were. This one is called Daffodil Yellow. Daffodil Yellow. Teresa says, could definitely do pride jewelry with these, right? Andrew got the rainbow, as much of the rainbow as he could get in these. Marion says, those eggs are such a gorgeous color. They are. Robin's egg blue, beautiful color. So this is Daffodil Yellow. Norma said, I saw Andrew's pics of those robin's eggs. Such a beautiful blue. Such a pretty blue. It is, right? Terry says, I need to keep an eye on Noodle outside. He is on a harness, but he likes to nibble. And I have a lot of tiger lilies, the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. Yeah, I have to watch Gilbert. Gilbert likes to try to eat the lilies too, and I don't know why. The lilies and the crocuses, and they're both poisonous to cats. So I have to be careful of Gilbert because he tries to nibble no matter how many times. I have to watch him. Next up, we have topaz color. Look at that kind of ambery, light ambery goodness. Topaz color right there. Crocuses are toxic. I've looked it up. They say that, I believe it's the fall versus the spring crocuses, one of them is much more toxic than the other, but they're all toxic to cats. And they love to try and munch on them, especially Gilbert. I don't know why. I said, Gilbert, you would be dead if you were an outside cat, because he tries to eat all the bad things. Yeah, they're the onion family, Andrew said. They all have the onion bulbs. And the last one that I have to show you all is smoke topaz. Smoke topaz. And this one is beautiful too. Smoke topaz. And again, each one of these are sold individually on the website. You'll see them in photos of them in groups, but they are sold individually, and they are 75 cents each only. And we did that so that you could pick the colors you want. I forget what it was we were doing the other day. And what was it? We were talking about that, and people wanted to get one of all the colors, but they said it would be prohibitively expensive. And I don't remember what it was now, but we remembered that. And we said, okay, let's sell these then individually so that you all don't have troubles with that. You can purchase the ones that you like and only the ones that you like, and not have to worry about having to buy all of them to get all the colors, right? Make it easy for you. See, we listen. We listen. As if you didn't know, right? I know you all know. I'm just putting these away and trying to do it in an orderly fashion so that everyone doesn't get wild. There we go. All back in order. Andrew says we try to listen to folks within reason, right? Yeah, sometimes you can't. You can only do so much. Sometimes you can only do so much. Sometimes you have to say no. Good boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries. That's what they tell me. I'm bad at saying no, but healthy boundaries. So that's our show for today. It was, I know, longer than I thought it was going to be, and we got into more things than I thought we were going to. But I do thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoyed the show. We call it a show. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found some meaning in it, and I hope that it kind of gave you a better idea of who we are if you didn't know. So thank you for joining in today, and we will be back here tomorrow. What day is today? Wednesday. We will be here Thursday. Friday, we will probably be on our way to Pittsburgh, so for Andrew's class. So we probably will not see you on Friday. So we have one more day tomorrow that we will be live with you. Maybe we'll just do a let's chat. We'll see. I may pull some things from some of the online store stock that we haven't showed in a while, or maybe never have shown, and go over those. We'll see. Because I know there's a lot in the online store, and there is so much. There's so much that it's hard to see, to sort through everything. So I think what I'm going to start doing is kind of do reviews of things and bring back some things and show you some things, because we're getting some new people out there, and we want to kind of refresh and let you know what's in the online store and give you a better understanding of what we have. So we might do that, and we will see you back here tomorrow. All right. And again, if you're in Pittsburgh on Friday, fill out the link and join our class at Contemporary Craft, SCCPGH. And on Saturday, hopefully we'll see you at Touchstone Center for Craft, and we will be there for their open house. Big weekend coming up. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye now.